I'm about to hit him with a super real quick.
Look, I got my twins climbing. You ain't hit me
KO.
If you don't super yourself off this microphone.
KO.
Oh. See, welcome back to the Multiverse Podcast, and all guys, the ladies are enjoying their lives on Friday night, but we got Andre, who fell asleep on us last week. He's supposed to be here last week, and yeah, we're happy. Go ahead. How are you, sir, Andre?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's good to see you guys again. It's been a long time I speak to you all, so it's good to see your family again.
Yeah, 100%. And we are glad to have you here. Like, we were like, let's get Andre. You be posting while we be podcasting. Like, you know what? Let's get Andre on here. So we're glad you're here. And Lou, sir, how are you?
What's up? I'm good, man. Holiday season's here. I'm happy. My family's healthy, and just try to make this thing work, man. Not really make it work, but guide it toward the way it's supposed to work. That's it.
What's the phrase I heard the other day? Progress, not perfection, right?
Exactly. Progress is a process, sir.
Man.
Gotta move forward.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, Professor Mike, you can go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. How's school, sir?
School is great. It kicked my ass this semester. I mean, I pulled up three grades from failing to I ended up with all B's for this semester.
Hey,
Nice.
man. Hey,
All straight
yeah.
B's. But that one class I had a 32. I ended up with an 87, and I pulled it up. This last one, I hadn't been doing anything. I've been humping every day, hump. But I'm proud. I did some. It was work. I'm going to enjoy this break.
So you were putting Cyclops was always right on the test.
Oh no, that would have got me A's. That would have got that would have got me A's.
You went from the short bus to the honor society.
I kept my politics out of that, sir. I didn't do that.
You know, what you didn't realize is that you are enrolled in Xavier School. Gifted old man is what the hell that is.
He looked at Cyclops is always right and looked up and was looking for you in the class. I'm like, all right, it's this guy in the back. All right, it's all right. It's all right. We're happy to hear that, though. Progress, right?
Progress.
J Pat, what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on? Everything's good. Got my nemesis here today.
Andre?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. He been itching to get that victory back.
About the Street Fighter way back when.
Yeah. So let's get some backstory. Let's get the lore on this rivalry here. Yeah. What are y'all talking about? You
got to tell them. We started in a place way far away.
We gotta go way back to the
in the previous
the group that shall not be named.
Okay. We can go with that.
And they had what was it? The Omega Fists or whatever. What was it?
The video game tournament. This is a video game tournament.
The ultimate.
That's a video game.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember what that was called.
We were going through. It was when Street Fighter 4.
No, that was 5.
It was 5? Okay.
Yeah. I still own it. Don't play it, but I own it.
Andre, you can interrupt him like you live, man. You got the live mic.
It's all true right
now.
Look,
you're
waiting
to be here. I'm keeping it humble because
I do remember. I remember he was happy to be in the finals with me. We was all
hold on. Andre, don't come on here humble because he's gonna bury you on here. And
they can be a bully. You gotta stand up to him at his age. You gotta stand up to that.
Y'all can have that gray on gray.
I keep telling him, I say, look, I got $50.
There you go. Get him.
And he keeps turning down. He's like, I don't take your money. Hey, look, it's so easy. Take it.
Well, I got at least be kind of humble. I even took the championship from him.
Look, it's $50.
I took the accolades.
Money up. This gambling right here. This is different.
I done got the legendary status. I'm the Omega Fist. You know what I mean? Like, I can't take your lunch money too.
That ain't lunch money. That's play money. That's play money.
We made it to the finals. It was kind of hard fought. I had Junior. Junior was
Woo.
still young. He
Said
was sitting on my
kinda.
shoulders. He's like, "Dad, you almost done with this guy?" Yeah. I was like, "Give me a second, son."
Look, the
Andre,
whole time
let me
I
finish
got
him
my
off.
twins right there too. My twins
Like
is climbing on
I'm about
me.
to hit him with a super real quick.
Look, I got my twins climbing. You ain't hit me with no
K.O.
super. If you don't super yourself off this microphone,
K.O.
Oh, see, like he never remembers he has that feature.
Oh my
and
god!
he remembered this week, so like that's cool.
Oh shit!
it's okay. Look. All I gotta say is at the end of the day, I got my money where my mouth is. See me.
Hey man, I got the Omega Fist Championship. That's all.
Hey, you get
I got
that
the
little
belt.
paper championship that don't matter no more.
I got
We
the
talking
belt.
cash money.
All right, like I think y'all should,
Six is coming out soon.
Was there a belt for real?
The thing about look, if you're so
there wasn't a
good,
belt.
just
He did have
beat
some
me now
prizes,
so you
though.
can get 6 for free.
Ooh,
What happened?
Oh, what?
If you're so good, beat me now so I can buy 6 for you. You get it for free.
I don't need to do all that. Like, why do I want to embarrass you? Then every time I play I feel bad. I'd be like,
At the end of the day,
he had
I
his
keep
heart set on
saying,
this championship.
If you're that
He
good,
was
hey,
talking
you
about
won.
going. He was talking about going national. In
You
the tournaments.
won. I still
I
can.
didn't
The thing
wreck
about it is,
all of that.
look,
Wrecked
if
his
you're
dreams. He
that
got to go back to
good,
teaching.
if
Okay.
you
Pushing the kids all
that
sad.
Okay.
Eyes
Jay,
all watery.
Jay, gonna scare all future guests from coming on here.
Nobody worried about Jay. Look, if Jay is that good, all I gotta say is you can win. You can beat me right now and get your game for free.
Oh man.
All right, so let's
Love you, Dre.
Yeah, let's
Tell
get
your bro I
back.
said hi, man. I love his album.
Is this what it's like watching me and Quincy fuss? Is this how it's like?
See?
Pretty much.
I ain't never been on this side of it. Wow, this is amazing.
That's a good point there. Like I try to stay away from that, because I kind of black out sometimes, man. Because it's just we're just barking at each other at
At a certain point. We're not going.
Yeah.
There's no giving in.
Yeah.
This is what happens when the ladies aren't around.
Yeah,
We
we
need
can.
that extra
Everybody gotta
settle
beat
us
their
down a little
chest.
bit.
Let's get to Andre. So Andre, we all met virtually. So do you remember when you first met Lou? Like what? How did?
Yeah. I remember whenever I first met Lou. He's a real cool dude. You know what I mean? Just chilling, real smooth dude. You know what I mean? Good countryman, just family dude, just played his games. It's all about his business, just chill.
Did he have like a post or something where he was like, you know what, he knows what he's talking about, or like, I want to get to know this guy? It was a long time ago. We all
really what happened was we were all in the same, group that don't be named that I made that somebody stole from me. Anyway, so we all in the group and we had our posts. And we always comment on things, and Lou always made sense. He always said something that was, it was very intelligent, it was very thought provoking, and and like you couldn't really argue against it. It was always something logical. So I was like, yeah, he's a cool dude, and we've been cool ever since.
What about
Thank you, man.
that's we all like to hear the love. We'll get to Jay last because we don't need to get to that. You're because we're all friends on Facebook, and really we all connected through comics and pop culture, all that stuff. You remember meeting Mike? Oh
yeah, I remember Mike Jones too. Mike Jones. Now I think about Mike was a little bit, Mike and Mike same thing with Mike. Mike was cool dude. He had his moments where he'd be a little bit extreme. He was different. Lou smooth. Mike had his moment where he's extreme. He shake the table a little bit. But the same token though, Mike was cool. He also made valid points as well. So everything it was cool, and he said his things, and we connected through our mutual love of Transformers, and we made some Transformers deals along the years, and that's my man. He a cool dude.
And Jay,
I remember me and Jay were in the alley. We were in a knife fight. So what happened was, what happened was he stabbed me and I stabbed him back, and we've been cool ever since. So,
Right.
That sounds similar to how
that sounds logical enough, and it does.
That's a J-Pad intro, right?
Yeah. Ain't nobody gonna question that either. It's like that happened.
That's legit, because I say it all the time. I put a post and then I see J-Pat comment. He's like, "What the fuck? Like, what is he going to say now? He's like, I ain't got the time to be replying to this. And then he's sitting there, like, you know what? I am going to reply. And it's like an hour later. You're like, but after a while, like Jay's a good guy. I like Jay.
I think none of us here had that problem with me. I had none of us here. I think it was somebody, I can't remember the name, but somebody used to drive me crazy. Every time I posted something, he would say something. I think I can't think of the dude's name to save my life. He's actually on my Facebook page right now, but he hasn't posted in years. But he used to get on my dang nerves every time I said something.
But now that we've gotten to know Jay, I realize now that he says some shit just to piss you off.
Jay's like he just stirs the pot. That's all he does.
Yeah,
he's like, let me stir the pot. And like you see that little meme, that little kid drinking the coffee, Jay be like this, like.
Mm-hmm.
So
all day,
Jay be like, it's 9:27. Who can I fuck with today?
And I remember like when like he was added as an admin, and I was like, Jay fucks with people. Like it would be good to have somebody to fuck with the people who fucks with people. It's almost like hiring the hacker to deal with the hacker. So I was like he'll have some use here, but no, Jay. We all love Jay here. Pop up.
Yeah, man.
Second pop up because Mike's the first pop up here.
Yeah, Mike is the elder statesman.
Raise your hand when you talk to me that shit.
You know what's crazy about Andre? I was cool with his brother. I am cool with his brother, and had no idea it was his brother.
Small world, man.
Yeah, I was like, wait, that's your brother? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Now, how did you remember first impression when we met, Andre?
Now, first impression of us. Let's see. Also was in a place that so from there it was always like he was just a real chill dude. And I remember it was the I think the most standout moment because like I said, your comments were always logical and made sense. You had a nice, clear, concise point of view as well. But I think the point that really started you standing out was during that whole first tournament of things where we supposed to put our things up there you argued your point out and and certain person's like blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, like what he's saying is making sense. Like he got a valid point. Why are you so angry about it? Because yeah, but look, it's been nothing but love and respect. I mean, look, you got valid points, and I mean you're entitled to your opinion. So, I mean, that's what I remember from you. Like, that's my first, real impression of you. We've been cool ever since. We've talked along the years, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You have your fandom, too. So, it's cool.
Yeah, and we all appreciate the kind words, because I think that gets lost when, just because we disagree don't mean you got to disrespect.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
big.
That's big.
Like,
exactly.
It's funny, like, you actually got to explain this to people at our age. Like, just because we disagree or I'm speaking my mind doesn't mean I'm disrespecting you.
Right.
And like one ain't tied to. All right, one. It's one thing I say. I don't even say it as much anymore. That pisses people off. I don't agree with you. That drives people crazy, and it's like, what
this day and age, you cannot disagree with people.
Yeah, so.
It's the social media curse, man. Social media curse, and everybody feels though their opinion is the most valid opinion. That's why they just get behind
the keyboard gives them powers, man.
Oh yeah,
keyboard ninjas.
The one question I always ask guests when they come on, like, how do you like the Multiverse Unlimited on Facebook and Instagram? How do you like? How's your experience been since you've been here? Because I think you've been. I looked at the page the other day. 7 years. I don't know if you were here from the beginning, but. Like, how's your experience been on the page? Sir?
Oh, it's always been cool. It's a real chill group. I mean, it's not run but through a weird whatever, It's
filter.
Not run like that. Yeah, it's run through a weird filter or a weird thing. And I understand how things are done, and I mean, it is what it is. It's not meant to be more serious than it is, but at the same token, though, it's meant to be respectful and fun loving. And I mean, it's a break from life. Like, life is hard, so. Why you gotta go and fight and carry on when it's not necessary? Like,
that's word.
Speak your point, have fun, do what you
respectful.
can, get out and move on. Like that's really what it is. So I love and respect it. I'm thankful for the group.
Oh man, we love hearing that, man. That means everybody. It means we're doing our jobs. Thank you, sir. Now at the pleasantries, let's move on to some news here. James Gunn, DC. There's more rumors. I almost hate talking about this because there's always something every week. There's a bunch of stuff out now, but the latest was Wonder Woman. First, it was Gal. The way some of the articles that were out, I think, what is today? Friday, Wednesday, was making it seem like she was done, but now they're just done with Patty Jenkins. Like, we got any thoughts on this? What James Gunn is doing right now, because it just sounds like they rejected her story and her arc, and Patty. She, from what I read, she didn't feel as though Wonder Woman 84 was a problem, and was looking for was looking for more of the same, reportedly. So what are we thinking right now? What do you guys feel about what's happening?
Stirring up the pot. He's shaking it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't grow unless you tear your muscle fibers. You don't build nothing. So
yeah, that's true.
And
I think they're phasing out. I think Gunn's direction is different than what DC had before, and change begets change. And I think that he's doing what he feels is right. And if they rejected her story, they just don't feel it. It's great for the mold. Just because you have a proposal doesn't mean they're going to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad about it. 84 was a trash can fire.
Yeah.
And so if we want, as fans, if we want Wonder Woman back on the big screen, whether it be Gal Gadot or whoever, take it in a different direction. I think James Gunn's going to shake things up. It's going to be like DC, 2.0. So I'm not mad about it.
And one thing, remember, people love this or hate it. The first Wonder Woman, Zack Snyder had his hands on.
Yeah.
And Wonder Woman 84, he didn't have anything to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and John's, it's amazing. Like, I love John's and his writing in comics. Like stated before, like, he's one of the writers where it made me look like, who wrote this? Because this was really good. Like, he's brilliant in comics, but like movies and shows, he kind of struggles. And like, I don't. It's bizarre. It really is bizarre, and I have no problem with what he's doing. It's starting to sound like there are other rumors out there, but it sounds like it's going to be a fresh start, maybe with some faces in same positions, but maybe some. Some people some people in familiar positions, but some might be in new, and just a fresh start. Andre, special guest. Yeah, you got any thoughts on this? Or
I mean, like, my thing with DC is just, as long as they have somebody wanting to tell a coherent story and coherent universe and really build upon it, because I mean, DC does have the better stories than Marvel. As long as they just keep it along one path and try to do one thing and not directly compete with Marvel, because you don't have to immediately have an Avengers in a year. You don't have to have an Avengers movie right there. You can take the time, build up your universe, build your shows, do whatever you're going to do, and then make your own decisions. You don't have to follow suit. You can, they have the money and the money and the content to put out what they want when they want, and they're going to get the support. It's just you have to put out quality products, and that was their problem. Like, they were thinking, like, all right, we can instantly get this money now. We do Justice League. We'll do this. We'll do that. And we'll be right there with Marvel. You don't need to do it that way. Nah. You really just need to put out quality movies, and you build it, they'll come. And they didn't follow that. So now Gunn is there, and, they had a couple movies, like the first Wonder Woman was good. And, I mean, Aquaman, it wasn't the greatest thing, but it was a decent movie. The first Suicide Squad was decent. Shazam. Those are decent movies. Like, and those four right there, you can build around them and keep pushing and everything like that. But like me, I was never a fan of Man of Steel. I didn't like Justice League. I didn't like Batman vs Superman. But like those other four right there, those are solid enough. I haven't seen Black Adam yet, but I believe Black Adam is probably along the lines of Shazam and Wonder Woman and Suicide Squad. So I'm gonna give support to that, without even seeing it. But Just put quality products out there, and you'll get the support. You'll get the vision. Like, honestly, I'm kind of sad that this Flash movie is not coming out or whatever they're doing with it, because I mean,
It's still coming out. It's still on track. Yeah, they moved it up a month. Last I read. Yeah, so I think it's.
Yeah, I just want to see Michael Keaton as Batman again. That's
he's not going to be in that one.
Well, they pulled it.
He's not going to be in any movies. He got paid, but he's not going to be in any of those movies.
Damn. Oh wow, yeah. I don't know.
I think with DC, like, so a funny thing happened. Avengers, the first one, it didn't make good money for a comic book movie. It made serious money, and like anybody who had properties, because remember at that time the first 3 X-Men movies were done, and then they started coming back out. Like, oh well, we got X-Men, and then they rebooted Fantastic Four, and then DC was like, they have relative property. Like, we can get that money. Like, the worst thing or the best thing that could have happened to the studios and for the fans is that they saw that money. The studios are always about the money, and when Avengers made that serious money, people were like, oh, we can make money off of this, and let's get the super groups out there. That's just an opinion of mine, because everything changed after the first Avengers movie financially with studios. Like, we got properties, just put stuff out, let's make the money. And you did not see Black Adam. Okay, I was going to ask you about that.
Well, hold up. But as a note, though, right? So those animated DC movies like Justice League Dark and Constantine and all of those, like I've said it before and I'm going to say it again, like pound for pound, shot for shot, movie to movie, those DC animated movies, they stand up to the MCU movies. Like, you could pair them against, and like if you really watch them, like these movies are just as good, if not better, and even crazier if you could just translate them, even just scene for scene, while even telling a different story. Those animated movies to live action, those movies would definitely stand up to the Marvel movies. Like, especially like Constantine, Apocalypse War. Apocalypse War was a great movie.
Did you see Green Lantern, Emerald Knights?
Yep, I saw that too.
Yeah, I always go back to that one. And you watch Young Justice, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's one of the better. I don't want to say shared universes, but like they built that universe all the way out around those characters. They've Green Lanterns. I don't want to say Legion of Doom, but we had Phantom Stranger. That's the first time I've ever seen them in animated form. Last season for Young Justice. So yeah, to your point, they do a good job with the animation for the most part.
A lot of those,
they don't disappoint on the animated side.
No, they don't. A lot of those animated stories, especially early on, though, they were pretty much direct translations for certain stories. They would be right out the comics. And I said before, they had a core team. They had Andrea Romano and her crew. They won't to different studios. They were all within that same studio, that same crew. What's the guy named Lamar something? The guy with Static Shock's voice. He played John Jones.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of the same people who worked together. Kevin Conroy. It was a crew. They had, like we said before, that shared universe. So they put time in. But the thing is that they respected the source, which you're not getting a lot of that now from anybody. Those early animated movies really respected the source.
Yeah, but even with the more recent stuff, they didn't stray away from that formula. I mean, they built that great house in the early stuff, and they stuck with that same formula. That's why they continued to make the great DC animated stuff, which I agree with Andre. Pound for pound, people look at an animated movie or animated show like, oh, that's for kids. And like, sit down and chill and watch it, and you'll dig it. I mean, that Superman joint with Shazam and Black Adam, those are some epic fights. And I think that DC got it right is because they put all that money in that budget, and they have very little ceiling when it comes to what they can do with an animated, series or a movie. They can do whatever the artist can do, they can make it happen, which makes the direct translation from books even easier, and that's what keeps it genuine, keeps it fresh, keeps it hot. But
Now,
they have not let off the gas, and that's a good thing.
like two things that you guys have said. So, Mike, you bring up a what I think is like a missed point with DC, missed opportunity, because Marvel does that with their movies. They'll pull from a story, like Civil War, the whole Infinity Gauntlet was translated in the movie, even though
snap, yeah, just kidding.
Right, everything leading up to Infinity War, like DC's never pulled from a story from a live action point of view. Now they've done it in animation, and it's crazy because they've done shared universes like multiple times, like with the early Justice League, Batman, Arrowverse, and I think I'm forgetting one more, but like they just haven't been able to translate that.
They've had shared universes before, so they know how to do it.
Yeah.
But it's just, they just don't have somebody behind the scenes saying, this is what we're going to do. This is the plan. We're going to stick to it and like guide them like Kevin Feige does. That's the real thing.
That's what they need for the continuity of movies. Yeah.
They need Guns go drive that.
Yeah, Snyder he had it. I mean, he had control of everything, but his vision was not. It's not DC in my opinion. Like, I mean, he was trying to put it in the right direction, and I get where he was going with Justice League and everything else, but it still wasn't like the DC. It was just his version of things.
It was his vision.
It felt off. That's my whole thing with it. I mean, I'm there with you though.
I think because we're all comic book guys, and when we see something with any kind of comic book property in any kind of media, we already start judging it. Like, how accurate is it? Like, what does it look like? What's the story? Like, I think that you need somebody like that to run comics. You need a fan. Like, a suit can't. Like, you can't. This is like me going and running an anime studio. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. It's like
just make the food look good.
Yeah, right. Like, I'm like, I'm changing something because it doesn't make sense to me when the people who the movies are for, they don't like it. So, like, what's really the point of making this movie? Making it for me, who don't care about anime?
Yeah, making it for the fan.
Go ahead.
What's up, Dre?
Yeah.
But no, but I mean, I'm sorry, raising my hand like that. I'm just
it's okay, T.
But it's like that's the one hard thing about making movies for like comic books, video games, anime, and everything like that. Because when you make these stories, it's like you have to appeal to so many different groups so you can grab as much money as possible. Like you have to keep it faithful enough for the fans. Then you have to make it welcoming enough for people who know nothing about it, and then you have to make it. You have to make it accessible enough for this group of people. It's like you got to satisfy like 3 and 4 and 5 different audiences. Whereas, like, when you just do the comic book, all you do is you have to satisfy one audience. When you're doing, the anime and the movie, you're making it accessible for one audience. So it's a little bit harder for that. And I get, like I said, I get what you guys are saying, but it's just when you do it for the media like that, when you put millions and millions of dollars into something, you need higher returns. So that's why it's a little bit harder to do it for that medium.
I can dig that, but the thing is that from that perspective, it says that comic book fans won't spend the same money as a casual. Yeah, our money spends the exact same. It's because if you make a product that satisfies the comic book audience, which if you're making a movie that has a comic book character in it, you're aiming for that comic book character fan base.
See, that was my thing too. To me, I think you should be aiming for the comic book fan because, some of these things wouldn't have got to this point if it wasn't for them. Now, if you're a casual and you're going, like somebody's going, like a casual going with, let's just say a professional, because like we're professional comic guys. So I think the next progression, so I think the next progression should be like, damn, like that character was interesting. Let me go pick up a book. That's me. Like, I'm gonna go get the comic. Whereas maybe some people like, anti-life equation. I'm like, what the hell is that? I don't like it. I don't know what that means. When sometimes you don't even have to go to a book. Like, you can Google it, and then maybe that'll get you right.
But I'm there with you with that. But let me say it like this, right?
Okay.
So look at the Marvel. Look at the MCU. The way the MCU was first done, and it's been done methodically because there's a rhyme and reason how everything is done. When I step back and look at it and really think about it and analyze it, like Iron Man, when Iron Man was done, it was done. It made accessible enough just for the comic book fans.
Mm-hmm.
And as the MCU has grown and gotten bigger and more widespread, more acceptable, more loved, it's evolved from just for something for comic book fans to look at, by example, like look at Black Panther. Was Black Panther really for comic book fans or was it for the culture?
I think it was for comic book fans and like in the
Black Panther was for
culture.
the culture.
I see. I think it happened along the way.
The culture is the only thing that keeps Black Panther propped up. Because once you start looking at it through more comic book eyes, it's like,
I mean that
it loses a little bit of its luster.
You talking about the story that they put out for Black Panther? Okay, all right, yeah.
For the first one, because I haven't seen the second one yet. So,
like, all right, we won't go there tonight with that. But I know what you mean. We talked about it before. Like the first Black Panther, I was saying, I was joking a couple of weeks ago. Like all Black people were happy. You know, when Black Panther was out, we were signaling each other in the street, high fiving. Like it was a good vibe feeling, and we was all feeling good after that. And I think maybe it's because of the image, you know, with the positive Black man empowering Black people and everything. I think that had a lot to do with it. But that movie has that advantage maybe over other movies of being closer to the culture, so it's empowered by it, or maybe it gets a boost because of that. Because like Jay said, like if you look at it, and you know there are things of every movie, everything is not going to like make sense, but you had
not gonna check all the boxes,
right? Like we're just looking.
I'm gonna be silly right here though. I'm gonna be silly saying this, and I'm being totally silly, so please don't make fun of me later. But listen, when Black Panther came out, that's the closest we've been to world peace since when Pokemon Go first came out.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I agree.
And that's what I'm talking about.
That's the closest we've been to world peace since Pokemon Go first came out.
And
one of my favorite stories is one of Mike Jones's stories, and he said he saw that little white kid in the Black Panther
in the uniform
costume.
In the costume, We were both waiting to go inside. I started crying. I say that proudly. He little kid was a little blonde-headed white boy. It was just as Black Panther. And he felt right at home. He didn't even feel like didn't belong. This is for him. He was cool.
I can dig it.
It was world peace until Infinity War, and Thanos was sitting on the porch, and everybody was fucking shocked because I'll never forget that. And I went with my mom. She was like, "What happened? Did they lose?" Like, yes, like it's over.
And I get angry every time when I think about it. I'm like, all these beautiful sceneries in the Marvel universe. Why is it every time we see Wakanda, they got fucking up?
Dude,
every time we see Wakanda, they got to tear this beautiful city up.
So, like to Jay's point, like he didn't want to see Black Panther die for what would we say three times.
Yeah,
He's died three times. Wakanda's been hit twice. Let's say twice. They got hit. The Thanos and in this last movie they got hit. They had two. We're past the statute of limitations. Like I should have seen the movie. Two funerals in the last movie, and then there was a funeral in the first movie. So it's like.
The king died in the end. Yeah. Oh man.
Like listen. Like black folk, we like when stuff don't go our way, we start looking like, why are you doing this? Like it's like we looking at you sideways. But I know what you mean. I know what you mean. And how we get here? Man, tangent.
I have no idea.
Yeah, but
and then if it tracks, they still got to do Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom gonna wreck Wakanda too.
Yeah,
man, we ain't gonna ever get Doom more.
No, I wouldn't say that.
I ain't gonna. We'll get Doom, but I don't think we'll get Doom more. I don't think
they're gonna do the Doom where he walks the badge butt naked.
Nah.
So become the Black Panther.
They got to get Black Panther straight first. They're gonna have to get T'Challa. They can't have Doom War with Shuri. That ain't gonna work. Doom War with M'Baku ain't gonna work. They're gonna have only person in Wakanda that can roll with Doom would be T'Challa. Unless they get that right first, it ain't gonna work.
Yeah, they're gonna age his son up some way.
No, they need to bring T'Challa. I don't want TJ Jr. I want T'Challa. I want T'Challa.
I don't want Tucson.
Not Tucson. No, I want T'Challa.
You don't want Crusade.
No, I don't want the son of a T'Challa. I want him.
Namor did more damage to Wakanda than Thanos and all the rest of those meat beaters because they were all on one side of town.
Wings.
Yeah, they were on one side of town. Namor went straight to the heart of the city. He tore up everything.
Killed the moms up and everything.
Yeah. And for all those people, we're gonna get to. I will talk about that too. And of all the people that saying, "Oh, Namor wasn't really a villain," like he killed Angela Bassett. Okay, you a goddamn villain. Okay,
yeah.
Don't spend that over here.
Yeah, don't do that.
The villain has to have a point. I don't mean he's right. He has to have a point, though. I mean, you have to look at a good villain. Like
he had a twisted point, but he had a point.
All the villains think they're right. I like to. One of my favorites is Sinestro. Sinestro does what he does for peace in the universe. He believes in ruling through fear. Like he's fucked up, but he's like, this is what I got to do to get.
My sector was straight though. My sector didn't have no problem.
Magneto, everything about Magneto was perfectly right.
His opinion or his methods?
Everything. Everything. Magneto's right. I'm getting that shirt.
So who are the other villains who, I ain't talking about MCU because they spin them. I'm talking in comics. So we talk about Sinestro, we talk about Magneto. Anybody else fall into that?
I agree with Magneto.
Said Dr. Doom's not even a villain.
And he said the same thing in a roundabout way about Magneto. Remember, we got to go back. I hate it comes all the time. But Secret Wars, what did the Beyonder, reading everybody heart, where did he put Magneto? He put him with the heroes. They're like, how the hell did he get hit?
Magneto always wanted what was right by any means necessary. That doesn't make him a bad person.
And
that just makes him logical to a fault. You know what I mean? It's like the same thing. It's the same thing I say about the same way I feel about my family. I want what's right for my family. If I got to break a few rules and snap a few necks to make my family right, then there gonna be some broken rules and some snap necks. That's just because of my family.
I mean, I already told you I'm gonna be a villain.
See. All right. So if I'm taking care of my family, like I joke all the time when I look at the bills, I tell my wife I'm gonna start selling drugs. I'm not gonna sell drugs. But if I decide to do that instead of maybe going back to school and getting a degree and earning more money, which way is the righteous? Which is the path
sell
to the
dope
hero?
to pay for school, then back out. I'm telling you,
no student loans. Yeah, I mean,
no student loans.
Nah,
listen, Mike. You listen. You see Mike on a commercial 12:00 at night. You still on the couch? What are you doing on the couch? Why ain't you registered in school yet?
You know they record that at 6 a.m. though, because that was already said.
But no, I'm gonna do what's right for mine. And Magneto was the same exact way. He was doing what he thought was right by any means necessary, and I can dig that completely. I swerve into the gray. I do whatever I have to do to make sure that me and mine are taken care of. I'm not going to intentionally step on somebody just to do it. But if you're hindering my progress, then buckle up, Buttercup, because I'm going to run your ass over. That's just it. And Magneto was the same exact way, and I can dig that. And he was never been evil. He was just doing what he thought he had to do. So some of the other bad guys.
The X-Men story should be over in the comic books now.
No, because it's not.
They got their own planet.
It's not because they're gonna fuck it up.
No, y'all terrorists going to attack us for no damn reason, and we gonna be able to do it.
Y'all had the ball or whatever.
Yeah,
y'all came up slinging y'all balls around for no reason.
I mean,
if y'all would have just went to Mars, terraformed it, and be like, "Look, we chilling. Y'all don't want us here on Earth. Whenever y'all have mutant babies, send them to us. They'll be cool."
Either send them to us or we'll come and get them.
They had their own plot to get something. Somebody come in.
This is what's going to happen because they playing around this intergalactic stuff with Shi'ar and they're self-appointed rulers of Sol. It's going to be some kind of invasion or whatever. Yeah, and then we're coming to Earth. We all need to protect the solar system because we're all in this together. And I'm looking at you, self-appointed of Sol. Like y'all need to handle that,
right?
I know that's what's going. I know that's what's going to happen. I know it.
You know what? All I hear is Biggie's "What's Beef."
I don't know it.
They forgot all about what happened in like Powers of X, like with what's her name when she kept reliving her lives over and again. Like there was always a point where humanity overtook their mutant abilities.
What do you mean?
So
what happened?
You remember in the Powers of X, like
Man,
the mutants always lost.
I don't really know X-Men books like that. Yeah, good.
Well, like the whole point. What was her name?
Moira Target.
Moria.
Moira Target.
Her mutant power was every time she died,
Mm-hmm.
she would reincarnate in the past with her past memories. So she would be reincarnate as a kid, but she would have all the memories of her last life.
I remember that. Yeah.
Is that why she crazy
I thought
now?
that was terrible. I thought that was one of the worst stories.
I thought it was a cool story.
I thought
that would drive you nuts.
House and Powers was terrible to me.
She was living her life trying to
make things better, but each time she would change it. Like this, she would change
stuff slightly.
She's supposed to have one more life left to reset the whole thing if they don't like it.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing.
But every time something happened, humanity eventually would technology would become more potent than mutant powers. So that's the point where mutants would lose and just all of them would die. So what happens when you go and put yourself over in an island over there and say, we're way better than everybody else? Humanity's going to be on Earth. Oh, you think so? And they're going to speed up whatever the technology they had.
All right, I understand. Yeah.
And they're going to just come and wipe you out again.
They're always going to come attack us.
Listen,
I thought the House and Powers of X was cool. I thought it was a cool story.
I haven't really, and much as I love X-Men, I still haven't enjoyed much of this run since House and Powers.
Oh yeah, this after House of X and Powers of X or whatever.
I haven't
liked any of it.
I like House of Powers. That was good.
The one thing that throws me off about the current X-Men run is the fact that they're way OP, and it doesn't matter how many times they die. They always have that secret baby maker in the bottom of the tree, and they just pop out the same exact person. And that kind of ruins the story for me because they have zero threat to life. They can always pop back up.
They have been dangerous since the 90s when they
Magneto
started.
got rid of his copy.
That he
did. He burned his and Storm's.
Yeah, he did. I don't know about Storm. I know he did his.
I thought Storm got rid of hers too.
She might have.
I thought she burned hers too.
She might have. I know
she was like.
Because I thought was it Terrence who was explaining this? Like they were trying to appeal to
the mutants on that Earth, on that Mars.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, they both burned their copies, and so whenever it's over for them, it's over for them. Mm-hmm. But that was because of the fact that she was voted into a council or a rule or something like that, and Magneto, I think he got ran off, and then he built that gigantic metal house. And then he self-appointed himself.
No, he didn't self-appoint shit. He just moved to a land by himself. And the old guy was in the boat was there. And they became friends. That was it. And then him and Storm and then everybody. They realized they need some kind of police or some kind of security there. They formed a brotherhood to take care of their people. But it wasn't like they appointed anything. They pretty much came.
I don't know if he was self-appointed or what. That was me. But
CJ, this is what I'm talking about. Even on a planet all by themselves, we need a group. We gotta form a group just to smack people around. Sometimes
it was a cure.
Thought it was paradise. But everybody that's there, y'all brought them there to Mars, right?
But y'all don't know about the Krakoa, not Krakoa mutants,
Krakatoa,
the Araco mutants, the one from those mutants don't. They're not from Earth. Oh, they're different. They're
the ones that were on Mars.
Yeah, none of them
were on Mars. Came in and
they weren't. No, that's not how it worked. They weren't on Mars. They were on their own little place. There was nobody on Mars except that one guy apparently. The guy on the boat, whatever his name was. They all came there. They were on another land. I forget where they were at. Then they all came to Mars and it was terraformed because they got them off of Krakoa because they wasn't working there. So let's get them over here. They're harder. They're tougher. They not about that regular stuff. Y'all don't want them on Earth.
They're not super mutants. They're just mutants.
Yeah,
they just do random.
But they're stronger than the regular mutant. Y'all don't want them on Earth. I promise you, y'all don't want them down here.
Aren't they like the descendants of Apocalypse or something?
Like that. If y'all have a problem with us, y'all definitely have a problem with them.
Wait, so when what was it, Uranus or whatever Thanos' grandfather? So he was on Mars. I don't even want to talk about him anymore because he was like he went
that
out. That
whole story was with weird, man. I really got to watch.
It's nothing but
OP character for like 6 panels, and then they wiped him out.
As soon as they took away, as soon as they took his guns, it was. But he killed Omega. It was Omega mutants that are on Mars? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying they're Omega, but the Araco mutants are stronger than the regular mutants. They're tougher. They're bigger. I forget where they came from, but the Araco mutants.
They're built stronger, but their mutant powers are not any stronger.
Maybe
because Apocalypse, he was fighting
I hadn't heard
on
that.
the island before it split, and then he
Right,
left and
they
his children
split.
stayed or something?
Maybe I don't. I said
think it's something like
this
that.
whole.
Something
I'm
weird like
behind
that.
so much.
Wait,
This whole
Apocalypse was out there pulling a Nick Cannon?
Yeah, he
probably
had
do got a bunch of
babies
kids somewhere.
out on the other half of that island.
Apocalypse. This is real quick. Apocalypse X Factor #6. This is my little medium rant. That book is disrespectfully priced low. You can still buy that book for like $20. I bought it from second charge. I already had like 2 or 3, but I bought another one for $20. Like, why y'all? This man have been on movies, cartoons, all kind of stuff. X Factor 6 is a first appearance. Is just
that's the first appearance.
Yeah, and it's
for $20.
Maybe
anybody who's played by Poe Dameron ain't worth nothing, man.
But still, anybody in that kind of market, man, he's all over.
Yeah, he's downplayed though, because he's not gonna get his props. Nothing in the cinematic universe with an X on it's not gonna get.
They made him look like a straight Power Rangers villain in that movie.
Yeah, with a turtleneck on the whole time, like a neck
brace. What was his powers? He could control sand or something.
Yeah, he was an earthbender.
Listen, all mutants are evil. Let's talk about. let's get over to. So we're gonna talk
Mike's
about the
finger looked like it was this long.
Yeah.
They can reach fully.
We're gonna talk about the Transformers, the property with of Andre here. I know Mike.
Before we get that deep, ask about the trailer first. Let's talk about the trailer first. How he feels.
Yeah, we are. It's all gonna lead in there.
Okay.
So we wanted to talk to you last week about the Transformers trailer. Mike wanted to know your opinions on that, being the Transformer buff that you are. What did you think of what you saw?
Actually, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yep.
I was pleasantly surprised because, in my opinion, the best Transformers live action movie is Dark of the Moon. Mm-hmm. And to see this trailer right here, to see how the beast are incorporated and the feel of it, and I mean it looks like it's gonna be a quality movie because like before the Bumblebee movie, that movie was just trash. This bad.
Which one was that with Unicron? What was the name of that one?
I don't even matter.
Last night.
Yeah, because I remember it was funny.
Yeah. First night or last night, some shit.
I remember the way Terrence was talking about it. He was like, "Man, this movie is horrible." The way they're announcing Decepticons, like they're like announcing them like they're like characters like in a NFL like NBA Street or something like that. Yeah, it was just crazy. They had a Decepticon like Motor Death Master or something. Like what the hell are they getting these names from? Like the one guy, he was like Ravage King or like Punk Rocker Murderer or something. I'm like, what the hell?
When they were releasing the criminals, the Transformer, the Decepticon criminals that they had locked up. Yeah, I know what you mean.
It was just wild. But
one was in jail for robbing banks. I didn't understand.
Yeah,
why is he robbing banks?
That goes back to my plan. That's what's wrong with the economy of the world right now. Megatron is literally ruling the world. Literally. That's why the cost of gas, chicken, and everything else has gone up so much. Megatron is controlling inflation. Megatron, Cobra Commander, what's the guy from Thundercats?
The bad guy from Mask.
Mumra,
and Dr. Claw. The four of them have come
together. Not Dr. Claw.
And George Steinbrenner. The five of them have come together.
Damn,
and they
George Steinbrenner.
You got the four horsemen of the apocalypse and George Steinbrenner.
All right, Dre, I got a question about some Transformer toys. I went to Target. Your Target. I saw a Yellow Devastator, but they're Autobots. What is that?
Yep. That's a special thing for Target. Like at Target, they had the because each store gets their own specials, and
right.
That. And that's Tonkinator. That's actual, it's the Autobot version of Devastator and G1. I mean, like it's a special Target brand, and they're able to rename them. So it's just the original mold.
They renamed them Tonkinator,
right? They have it has Tonka on it. Yeah,
like Tonkinator instead of Devastator, Tonkinator. Wow. Trucks and everything.
Is it the same size as the regular Devastator? Is the G1 Devastator?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the original Devastator.
Like for $84, like I pass. But what
$84?
Yeah,
you can probably get it right now. If you get it right now, you can if you're smart about it, they got a couple coupons and everything. You can pick up a set now probably for like $25-$30.
Right.
Word?
Yeah, I mean it's worth it. I mean, you know, there's something you can grab now if you get it for
if I can get it for that low, I might grab it. But it's the only way.
Just keep it in box and then flip it like in 2 years.
You know how we do. We hit Ollie's all the time in Ross.
Yeah, I doubt it shows up at Ollie's to be honest with you. But if you get it from Target for like $30-$40 with coupons,
that'd be a decent buy.
Yeah, just keep it and then flip it in like a year or two for $150-$200.
Yeah, I've never sold any of my Transformers. I don't even know how to do that. Yeah, I just buy them and put them in the corner.
We still haven't gotten a virtual tour of your room yet.
It ain't been since that last night. That's the last I've done.
I gotta put my collection up too because I got a whole bunch of stuff in storage. But I got I got a nice little collection.
Did you recoup from you had a flood, right? Did you recoup from that?
I'm like officially out of the flood. I lost the entire first line, the first live action movie. I lost that entire line of mint figures. They were all in the box, unopened, completely mint. I lost that whole line, and I mean a couple other like classics and Beast Wars stuff. But that was the bulk. That was not the bulk of my collection. But that was a nice portion of my collection back then that I lost. I mean, I recouped because I got like most of the Titans now. They're all sealed. I'm missing Metroplex though. I'm so angry I didn't get Metroplex.
I think I got Metroplex.
Yeah, I got Fort Max, Predaking.
I could have been Fort Max. I got either Metroplex or Fort Max. One of them I got.
You gotta have Fort Max because Metroplex was the white one, and Metroplex is I mean, he was only a clearance at like Toys R Us and stuff like that. He never made the Ollies.
Oh, maybe. Okay, Fort Max. Either one. It sounds about right. It could have been Fort Max though.
Yeah, Fort Max goes for like $600-$700 depending on where it goes, where you buy them from. Them.
I mean, I got the original Metroplex G1 Metro. I know that.
You know, it's funny though with Transformers though because of how the engineering goes and everything they've done in them. It's like the original toys. You know, they have their value, sentimental value, and everything. But the current toys, they actually appreciate faster, and they tend to be worth more now.
They do.
In relation to the older toys.
I do, but the thing what you said is sentimental value for me. I only want the toys that I wanted as a kid that I couldn't get. Those are the ones, or I have some kind of emotional connection to, like Voltron. I'm in the hunt now for the Panache Place Voltron.
Okay,
that's an ugly Voltron. It is, but that's the one my mom bought me, so I want it.
No, I understand.
Dig it.
I definitely.
You know, they're expensive, but I want it.
Yeah, and what Hasbro is doing now. Hasbro is honestly, I really appreciate what they're doing now. I mean, they just redid Devastator. I'm not Devastator, Minosaur, and I'm waiting on the last one to come out right now myself. And come to think of it, because my son had just brought it out there because the box he wanted to use the box for something else. But right here, I got my Megatron, his tank crossover G.I. Joe. And this
I saw that.
Nice figure. I got to open it up myself, but it's Megatron is a his tank from G.I. Joe with the Baroness, and you know they're in scale with all the 3.75-inch G.I. Joes. So I got to go back and get my old collection from out the garage. And
you say Minosaur? Who's Minosaur? Is that the Stunticons?
Yep, Stunticons. Okay,
I got that in the garage. I got the G-Woman in the garage.
So my homie used to draw the Transformers comic.
Say what?
It's a good one.
My homie used to draw the Transformers comic.
Oh, that's what's up.
Who, Jay Lee?
Andrew Griffith.
Oh, okay.
So Andre, I love that you had just a random Megatron hiss tank within arm's reach to show us. Like that. That's great. Going back to the Transformers, because you and Mike are like the Transformer pros I know, and Transformers franchise to me it should be. You know, I think they predate Marvel. Like they should have an established universe, in my opinion. They got plenty of characters to build out a universe. Why do you think those first Michael Bay films failed? Why did they fail?
I'm gonna take it away like Kevin Feige. The thing about it is the Michael Bay films. For what they were, the first three, even four, the first four, they were Transformers films, and I mean, and you gotta remember the original Transformers. It was nothing but a 22-minute commercial. That's all G1 was, in my opinion.
That's all it was. I love it. All those '80s toys, all they were.
Yeah, I mean, except for Thundercats. Now, Thundercats, they actually had a solid story.
Yeah, but they were still a commercial though. They were still selling toys.
Yeah, but I mean, like, so those first 4 movies, they were just, it was explosions and Michael Bay and Autobots and transforming sound and moving parts and flashy and stuff like that. So to be honest, like, the fact that we got 1.5 decent movies out of 4, and then Bumblebee, and there's new stuff. Like, I'm not angry at it.
That's
but in my
25%.
opinion, hey, look, I'm gonna say it like this. In my opinion, the best Transformers movie is still the animated movie. Yep. Until this Beast one, the Rise of the Beast come out. That's the one I'm compared against. But the original animated movie is still the best one, and the best toys, because they do have a lot. They have a subline from the animated movie coming out, like with the toys coming out, the Dinobots and select figures here and there. It's a great line. It's a great line. And those toys are going to appreciate very quickly.
So yeah, you're right. We all love the first one, the one from the 80s. I was okay with the first and second one from Bay. I like Dark in the Moon. Like, I can watch that over and over again. I think that had the best balance, and they had that big citywide fight before. It's funny because their fight was similar to the Avengers fight in the first movie. That one came out like a year. Yeah, so like that, and they were fighting for maybe an hour and a half towards the end, and it was good action in that movie. But if you're in a Kevin Feige type role for Transformers, because you are the Transformer guy here, what would be the first? And we talked about top 5, before we came. What would be the first 5 things you would do, like your plan for a Transformer universe cinematic?
Transformers cinematic universe. If you're gonna do it, go big. Like, the first thing is we're gonna have G.I. Joe, because G.I. Joe and Transformers are connected. So we have G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Mask. There's another. I'm trying to think what other else.
Oh, Mask! I haven't seen Mask in a minute.
I love Mask.
We could definitely have those 3. Definitely have those 3 setting the universe together, and we got to have.
What about the Centaurians?
Centaurians. They're not
They weren't in that universe. They're not in that Hasbro universe now.
I remember.
Okay.
One thing, those figures were big as shit back in the day.
Yeah, they were like 9 inches.
Yeah, they were like the first like big ones. They were 7.5.
They're like 8, 9 inches.
They were like big, like Rambo figures. Not Rambo. No, like 18. Like 18 figures. I remember.
It's like the Mego 18. Yeah, they weren't quite that big. They were more of a scale, but they're better.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say, so I would take those 3. I would take those 3 universes right there: Transformers, Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Mask. Put all 3 of them together.
So that's your first step.
Yeah, that's my first step. Get all 3 of those together. Make sure you get a solid team of writers, and then you literally have to build out each one. I mean, because at the end, like Transformers, you can start off with Transformers. You can do a G.I. Joe movie, you do a Mask, and then you tie it together like the 4th or 5th movie. You tie it together with a big war. I mean, but you leave little hints in each movie connecting it, because if you look at G.I. Joe and Transformers from the original cartoons and everything like that, you'll see a lot of the G.I. Joe vehicles, a lot of Transformers vehicles. They were in each other's things like that, in each other's shows, and the vehicles were the same exact. And of course, the voice actors. I mean, the fact that the direct episode where Cobra Commander stole Slingshot and sold him for parts. And then on top of that, Marissa Fairborn, that's Flint's daughter, and in season 3 and 4 when they're out in space and stuff. So it's just all about just keeping it consistent and deciding where you want to go with things. That's the second step. Third step, you have to keep it authentic and genuine, because like the same thing, like I tell people when they're trying to build relationships being a teacher, like you have to be authentic with it, because if it's a fake, fans, children, anybody, they can spot a fake. They can spot if you're not genuine. So you have to have somebody who genuinely loves it, then give that attention to detail. Fourth thing, lots of explosions. Like explosions, and you can't be afraid to let characters die. You have to be honest with that. And I'm not talking about like miscellaneous characters. You gotta be like Game of Thrones with it. Like you can let Ironhide die. You can let Soundwave die. Like you can let Flint die, or Flint or Duke or somebody. But you have to make it consistent. You have to make it worthwhile. You can't just kill them to kill them. You have to kill them and put meaning behind it.
Some stakes.
And the last thing is, like, I don't want to say it like this, but it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. You have to make the toy line very, very good, because as we know, like with cars, As long as the toy line is good, you're going to continue to get the movies. So just put out a solid toy line, solid story, and it'll all mix together somewhere in the middle.
And
with that.
Let me ask you now. Like they had 5 movies. Is there like and Transformers are well known for like the subgroups or whatever. Are there some groups that you would feature that weren't in the first 5? Like we kind of got the Dinobots, but we didn't get an Omega Supreme or Insecticons, or he was in the 4th one, kind of.
Yeah, but you know what it is. I'm gonna say it like this: like is you. I mean, like each subgroup, it depends on is like you have to make the threats relative. Like prime example, the Insecticons. Insecticons could be relatively a GI Joe threat, GI Joe level threat, or you could have somebody like you can't have the Dinobots go against like Mask or the Predacons. You have to have something. You have to make it relative. Like prime example, you can have Soundwave cassettes appear in Mask. You know, and use them like you fight Rumble and Frenzy and Ravage. So it all has to be relatable and scalable. You can't just do something to be absurd. You can't have Devastator appear in G.I. Joe because they're not be able to take it.
It's over for them. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have to make it scalable and relatable. So, you know what I mean? So as long as you keep, you know, you put the Insecticons in G.I. Joe, you can do Soundwave tapes, like I said, in Mask. You can do you can use Skylinks to transport the Joes to a battle. You can use like Astro Train to, you know, I forgot the bad guys at Massware, but you can use like Astro Train with them.
I think they were Venom. The name was called Venom.
Yeah, Venom. There you go. You know, but you just have to. You can just relate it. As long as you relate things the right way and keep them scalable and, you know, cool and give the aha moments for people who pay attention, then you can get something nice coherently and, you know, get it done. But it's just as long as you keep it relatable and believable. That's the one key. That's what makes the shared universe big and key. As long as everything's believable and the story's good and keeps moving and it's not out of the norm. So, you know, if that makes sense. Maybe
was Mask and Venom, were they related?
Were who?
It seems like they should have been.
Who?
They should have been.
Mask and Venom.
I mean, they were the same show. Venom was the bad guy's own Mask.
I mean, Cobra.
Cobra and Venom. Now, who was the? I know where you're going at because the guy who was the leader of Venom in that helicopter jet thing.
Oh man, I can't name one person on that show. I'm proud I know Venom.
You can't. Oh man, I did. As I
really wasn't a big fan of Mask. Honestly, believe it or not, I wasn't a big fan. I really wasn't.
Mask was my joke.
Yeah, everybody know that's the bastard child of Transformers and G.I. Joe. Like,
yeah, I mean, because you look at Mask, right? Like,
it's like Transformers and G.I. Joe had sex and popped out.
Mask, yeah.
To make it relatable to Transformers, we're like, here, we'll share our technology with you so you can transform your vehicles into, you know, bases and other things like that. And that'll be, you know, that's how the Mask movie gets started. And they just keep going. Like, you know, it's there. Stories are there.
I would go complete opposite from what Dre's doing. Yeah, I wouldn't do a shared universe like that.
Go ahead, let's hear
it. First, I would focus on Transformers. I'm gonna decide if we're going to involve humans at all. Are we going to leave Cybertron, or if we're going to come to Earth? What level we're going to be on? And then on top of that, I would simplify them goddamn designs. Mm-hmm. I don't like how none of them robots look. You need to look like
they look like when they transform, they look like tornadoes
just
of like
gray
metal scraps.
Yeah. It's too complicated. Simplify that stuff. And then I would just focus on stories there. I need to be like this, like you said. You got to be able to sell toys, and you sell toys if they look like the toys. You can't even tell what these damn things look like. What you got? You know, I would focus on that. I would make the scale down. I would if I'm gonna keep it just robots, it would just be robots. If we're gonna be on Earth, it's just gonna be a few of them. You know, it's not. I'm not gonna bring a whole new team in. Like was it Prime? When they had the liaison, what's his name? And the two little people, that's all I would give them. I wouldn't have a whole war. I'd have a couple of little people here to be the bridge between the humans and us, and we're going to handle our business.
Are there any subgroups that you would highlight?
If I did, it would be a highlight. It would be a whole story. I wouldn't just show 1 or 2 frames and bring it in. I'd have an Insecticon story. I'd have Dinobot's story. I don't necessarily have one I need to see, but the way they've been shown now, they didn't get full show. You'll see a big robot dinosaur, and that's Dinobot. That's it. You got it. You're happy. No, I'm gonna give you a story behind this Dinobot. Why
so you're not going?
Grimlock.
You're not going for the moment. You're building out.
I want a whole story about these particular people. Any of those things can sell, but I need you to give me a story. If that's the story, this is the story with Minosaur and Protectobots or whoever. I need that story. I need you to go further. You know, that's where I would go with that one. Now, as far as crossing it with G.I. Joe or Mask, I wouldn't, because Mask, for one, is just too obscure, and G.I. Joe by itself is big enough to be its own monstrous franchise. And if they did cross over down the line, they would cross over down the line, but it would need to be established on its own first. I need it to be its own thing, and then we'll come together for these 2 or 3 movies, and then break off and do our thing.
A good G.I. Joe.
Right.
So you would establish it and then make a crossover with Fast and the Furious.
But like I say, with Transformers and G.I. Joe, I would do it, but it ain't going to stay. I mean, we're going to tell this story. We're going to beat this villain. We're going to come together, and then we're going to separate. You know,
and see what happens. I see what you're talking about.
You got my number. If you need me, call me back.
Yeah, and I respect your opinion right there. I like your opinion, Mike. Yo, one question I'm asked is: so, are the 3 G.I. Joe movies, are any of them acceptable in your guys' eyes?
Honestly, I've never seen any of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, I had zero interest in any of those.
The first one was
I'm not a big G.I. Joe fan in general either.
A background noise. Yeah. I actually I've watched a few times. Just as not nothing I pay attention to, but stupid noises and explosions
listen,
in the background.
I love the Wayans brothers like everybody else, but he should not have been in that movie.
No, he shouldn't.
Like he was in it. That's not a good sign for me. Then wasn't The Rock in a couple?
He was in the second one.
Was in one.
He's the second one. And wasn't Bruce?
There's only been 2, right? Oh no,
I thought it was 3.
I didn't know it was the second one. I didn't know that.
It was the first one with Channing Tatum as Duke. Second one with The Rock, and then the third one was they tried to do the Snake Eyes movie.
Wasn't Bruce Willis in one of those?
He was in the second one.
Okay.
The second one was the best one because you couldn't tell me that Marlon Wayans is Ripcord. You couldn't convince me of that bullshit.
But the thing about Ripcord, even when Joe's when the original, I'm thinking back to the original cartoon. I didn't really read the G.I. Joe comic book that much.
Me neither.
But the original Joe show, Ripcord was such a. I'm not going to, because my favorite.
He was a fringe character.
Yeah, he was a fringe character. He was like The Rock is Roadblock. That's just. Nah.
Yeah.
No. That was
he was Roadblock. That's who they had him.
He was Roadblock.
He was Roadblock. Yeah.
He's too light skinned for Roadblock.
He didn't have the neck fat back then either. It was pre-Lizzie necks.
Yo, Mike's face.
He was from Louisiana.
Yeah, Roadblock was a big old country boy that turned around and freaking
Man, when Mike's face when he said he was Roadblock, it was like I ain't missed shit from that movie.
Not at all.
Hey Mike, the good news. Listen, he stayed on character. He had a sweaty shirt on, and he sweated the whole movie.
Oh man,
he fit the bill.
I don't care nothing about The Rock.
Who's that big 8 foot tall MMA fighter? He's real huge.
No idea.
He's not really 8 feet tall, but he's the black dude. He's real big, but he got like an 8-pack.
You talking about Bob Sapp? You talking about Bob Sapp?
Bob Sapp, yeah, he should have been Roadblock. He real tall. He like almost 7 feet
Bob
tall.
Sapp is huge, but he can't fight with the shit. He got
looking like he got drawn. He looked like he's a Rob Liefeld drawing with no feet.
He looked ridiculous.
He does look ridiculous. He tried to fight Mike Tyson and get his ass whooped.
Yeah, Mike might knock him out.
No, he did. This was a while back. Bob, I think it was after Bob had a fight with somebody, and he won, but he barely won because Bob he's terrible. And Mike was in the audience, and he ran up. He just was in the ring, and Bob started talking shit to Mike, and then Mike came up because I'm Mike Tyson, bitch, and you just not gonna talk shit to me, and he started going back and forth. Mike, like, yeah, I'll fight you, but it's gonna be Marquise the Queensberry rules. No, he ain't doing this MMA shit. We would throw hands. Ain't heard no more about that shit. Bob don't want nothing with Mike. He don't want to go in that ring with Mike.
Bob gonna end up like Kimbo Slice.
Sleep. Yeah, no.
Remember him? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he is dead though. That's fair.
Kimbo was the man for a second.
He was the man.
Exactly 1 second.
That thing called death stopped him though. I mean,
he passed away, but that man was a beast.
Kimbo would have beat Bob Sapp. Kimbo would have killed Bob Sapp. He the slap Bob. That's exactly what he did. Kimbo would have slapped the shit out of him.
All right. So thanks for that, Mike, and the whole group here. Now, Mike, excuse me, Andre, you are affectionately known as Mr. Marvel because you love everything that they do. What did you think of Phase 4? Because if you've been listening, it's been a mixed bag here from hate to appreciation to okay. Give us a high overview what you thought about the shows, the movies, high points, low points. Were you concerned about where they're going? Because recently, rumors about them possibly scaling back, focusing more on quality instead of quantity. Because I would never have thought 10 years ago we would be saying like it's just too much for Marvel right now, because like they were bulletproof for about 10 years. 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, they were bulletproof, and we gave them the benefit of the doubt, even when they missed Iron Man 3.
But Iron Man 3, like after Shang-Chi, Iron Man 3 is such a better movie now.
Nah.
He's right. Not about Shang-Chi, but Iron Man not Iron Man 3 being better compared to what we've been seeing. But go ahead, Andre. Let's talk about it.
Like a lot of things with the Marvel movies, in my opinion, like, and I get what you guys are saying, like, whoa, this movie's not good or this movie's bad or whatever like that. A lot of things in the Marvel universe now are related to payoffs. Like prime example, what's it called? Like Miss Marvel. In my opinion, Miss Marvel, that movie's like, it was horrible. But the thing about it is like going forward, because I know Lou loves the cosmic stuff and everything after plays out. So Miss Marvel, there's so many potentials for payouts, and that's going to make that movie much better.
Wait, you talking about the show or?
No, I'm talking about
Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel. Okay.
Yeah, Captain Marvel. And the thing about it is, it's like the way the Phase 4 go. In my opinion, it started out strong with what I'm gonna say with the with the shows, like WandaVision, Loki. In my opinion, Loki was like the highlight of Phase 4. I mean, just because of what it presented on the table, what it put on the table, and the possibilities from that show. And like Phase 4, it's a very frustrating phase. Okay. Like as a fan, because you're looking at it like you watch the shows, and the hardest thing about the shows, I had to keep telling myself this is, I'm expecting like movie results, and you're not going to get that with the shows. Like prime example, like She-Hulk. Like She-Hulk could have been so much better in the the show itself would have been so much more rewarding if in the last 5 minutes, instead of pulling an Iron Man 3, if they actually, put it out there. Like, look, the intelligence is real. And you know what I'm saying? Like, this we're really here, and they could have ended it with the leader that's popping up on the screen, like, "Hi, I'm real." Like, you know what I mean? Like, just something like that, and ended it. And like, that'd have been so much better because you'd been so like, "Oh my god!" You'd have been hyped for something like that. But they Iron Man 3'd it, and it was like, really, like, you know what I mean? Like the show, it was okay show, and it was a worthwhile watch, but it's just they didn't give the oomph that they needed to end it, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And the same thing like with the movies. Like I love Spider-Man No Way Home. I love that movie, and like in my opinion, like I would say it's the second best movie of Phase 4. I give it the one to Black Panther, 2 Spider-Man, and 3 Shang-Chi, and it's like the movies. They swung because Eternals, like, nah.
Here we go.
It's like nah. Like, I mean, it was a love story, and I get what they're trying to do, but it's just like, you guys are doing too much.
Just go ahead and say it. Just say it was whack.
Yeah, it was. But but it's just like they were swinging too much. It's like, I see what they're trying to do. It's like they literally just put their hand in a pot of spaghetti. They grabbed a big hand of spaghetti and threw it against the wall.
See what stuck.
Whatever stuck, that's what they're gonna go with. But it's like everything from Phase 4 didn't stick. Like comparison to the other phases, like the Guardians of the Galaxy, they were never a major team, in my opinion, before the
No.
movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I'm looking back, I had the Marvel cards from 1990, 1991, 92, and it's funny because I'm looking at it, and they had the Guardians of the Galaxy up there as rookies in 1990. And I'm looking at the original roster. You got Major Vance, Astro, like all the other
Mike's
people
team.
who weren't even in the movie. And I'm just looking at it like
that's my team. I keep saying it.
You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at it like, wow. Like, look at how far they changed. Look at how far they're going. And, like, that shows that they were doing very, very, very good storytelling. Like, you're taking B, C, and even D-level characters, and you're turning them into multi-million-dollar franchises.
But let's stop for a second right there. That's a lot of what the MCU is in general, up to and include the Avengers. Let's be honest. The Avengers are an A-level team. But at the time these movies were made, the Avengers weren't selling no books like that. The Avengers were they were all right, but they won't do it.
They weren't popular.
No,
they
weren't.
Like
X-Men.
X-Men.
The X-Men is the team that everybody loves.
Everybody, X-Men. I'm talking. The X-Men carried Marvel for a while. You couldn't tell the truth.
Hold on, Andre. I don't love them. I don't love the X-Men.
You ain't gotta love me now, but you can tell the truth.
Hold on. I'm talking to our guest.
And he agreed with me, sir. And he agreed with me.
And I'm disagreeing with him. Don't everybody did not love the X-Men. Like I've been reading,
like Michael.
Listen, I've been reading Avengers since that was my team. It's Avengers, Fantastic Four, Justice League. But I tried reading X-Men, I ain't getting to it. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go back to the point you were making, sir.
I forgot what I was trying to say. But no, what I'm saying is like. But like with Phase 4 though, it's really been a hit or miss phase. Really been a hit or miss phase. I mean, there have been good things up there. There's been a lot of things that they could have left, like Moon Knight. That was like the hardest watch of my life.
I don't have the echo effect, but I want to do it right now. Like J-Pat, whack.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, like I tried. I love. Like I was just watching it because it was Marvel,
right?
And it was good. It was good when they finally showed like the astral planes.
It was good when they showed the end.
I appreciate that part.
You mean when Mark finally shot him? Like he could have done that in the first couple of episodes. Now let me ask you because we had interesting answers when asking the team here. Some of those Disney shows, it was too much. They might have been better as movies. Any of those shows you feel because what did I say? Like at the minimum, they're 30 minutes, so you get 8 of those. That's almost a trilogy if you add them up as a movie. What show would have been better if they would have cut the fat and just made it a movie?
None of them.
None of them.
They all deserve to be. They all succeeded better in a movie because, like, and that's the one thing about the shows. The way I saw them and the way they played out in my mind, like they told a story that wasn't necessarily meant to be told on a big screen, and it could be done at a cheaper rate by showing it as a show like that. And additionally, you're able to tell the story that you need to tell to set up something in the future, without investing hundreds of millions of dollars to something, and you can still put out a solid quality product for 30 or 40 million.
So this is why I had asked that, because a lot of these shows, they all start the same. They start up here for me. Every one of them start, and then it's a decline. Like you can clearly see like the filler episodes. And I don't know who said it, but someone mentioned, I don't know if it was Megan or Jay, I don't remember who it was. They said Winter Soldier and Falcon would have been a good movie. There were other suggestions, but the majority opinion from us was that some of these shows just went on too long. They couldn't fill out all the time.
I agree with what you're saying, but like Prime said, you take Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The one problem with that show was you could tell that they didn't keep the same story from the start. You could tell because there were some inconsistencies in the show, and like you could see it, especially if you watch like companion shows on YouTube and other things like that. You could see that they had different storylines going on that they didn't finish out. Like, and it's very prevalent in Falcon and Winter Soldier because there's supposed to be other storylines about assassination attempts and drugs and other things going on, but they took those storylines out, and like you can see like the breaks in the show, like because some lines look off and some places like out of place and everything. So I mean, I have to go back and research it, but I'll give you guys for like the future reference. Yeah, he said. For future reference, I'll show you guys, those parts that I had talking about. But it's like Falcon and Winter Soldier, like I said before, like the way they show Madripoor, the stories they show, like they got in, got out. I mean, and at the same time, like at the end of the day, I'm gonna say it like this: Do you really want to see Baron Zoom on the big screen again?
Not in that iteration from that show.
Yeah, no. you really don't want to see Zemo.
You want to see him dance
again.
You want to see him dance again.
You don't want to see Zemo on the big screen again. So it's like, you were able to see Zemo on the screen like for what $20-30 million for 8 episodes and got in and got out, and you can appreciate it. Now Loki, I love that show. To me, there's not a single bad episode on that. And like everything made sense and everything was logical. It was just great. I was in awe watching Loki.
That was one of the first ones, right?
Yeah, that was the third or second one.
It was the second or third.
Loki was third.
Because
what was the first one?
It was Wanda, and then it was Winter Soldier, and Falcon.
Okay,
right.
Yeah.
I think that the reason why I agree, Loki was amazing. I think the reason why it was because Loki was a very established character, and so was Wanda, and so was both the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I think Loki stood out the most. They did the most eye-catching stuff. When I did not get my birthday present.
Who is that?
I don't know, but I think Loki was amazing because of the fact that it was hot off of the MCU movies, and Loki was like the lovable quote unquote bad guy. He was another great character, and the rest, like we discussed before, the MCU small screen lineup kind of ran out of steam, and they were just throwing, like you said, spaghetti, just throwing stuff at the wall. And I think the MCU is in. It just occurred to me a few minutes ago. The MCU is in that awkward phase. We all have kids, and they go through that awkward phase of life to where they like tripping over stuff, don't know how to talk, and voices changing, and hormones are raging, and crazy shit's going on in their lives. That's pretty much what the MCU was in Phase 4. In that weird pre-pubescent life.
I'm there with you, and the thing about it is also for Phase 4, you have to really understand like this. Like nothing has ever been done before like this, as far as the big screen and small screen combined to go. So to see something like this unfold and play out, like you got the culmination of 22 movies, and then now you continue to build on that. Like, I mean, no other franchise or anything has done something like that before.
You're right.
So it's like,
let me ask you: did they make too much change after?
No, it's not that. It's not that. I mean, it's just not like, again, like they're just throwing stuff against the wall to see what's going to stick, where they're going to go with it. I mean, and it's like this is the best way to explain it, right? Like when they got Spider-Man back for Civil War, it was like, oh my God, we got our toy back. We can play with our toy. We're going to show our toy. Let's play with our toy. Everybody look at our toy. Hey, we got our toy. Boom, 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 boom. We got our toy. Boom, 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 boom. And they're showing to everybody. But it's like they also forget that, hey, we got our balls here. Hey, we got our headphones here. We got these other toys that we can play with. But it's just like they were so focused upon Spider-Man. And, rightfully so, don't get me wrong. But it's like they're so happy they got their toy back. It's kind of like I feel like the storytelling also like went down with outside of Spider-Man. I mean, other people, other people got the quality too and everything else. Don't get me wrong, but like,
there was a certain drop. You can see the drop in quality.
Yeah, it's like you can see the drop, and it's like, and not to mention the fact there's a couple inconsistencies. I can see why Scarlett Johansson was like upset, like when her movie came out, because Black Widow, watching it, it's like, again, that also falls with some inconsistencies. And is very few times where you really have inconsistencies in MCU movies because they're so meticulously planned out.
But Black Widow was also a COVID delay too. So
Yeah,
that whole
And so they kind
phase, that whole phase was affected, and like Scarlett, her movie was overdue. Like honestly, she was,
Should have been had a
yeah,
movie.
she was one of the first heroes in the MCU. Like maybe the third or fourth. It was Iron Man, Hulk, War Machine, and her. You know, in that
She
Iron Man
was-
2 movie.
yeah, she was an Iron Man too. So technically speaking, she was she was really the third. She was really the third to appear.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
Hulk
yeah.
came out after Iron Man 2. So she was the third. And then so if you're looking at it, in my opinion, Black Widow should have came out in the place of Captain Marvel.
Well, even you know, you talk about her, like War Machine appeared in the same movie, like, and he still hasn't. He was prominent in that movie, and I'm glad they're switching his show over to a movie. Now, I wanted to say something before I forgot. We mentioned the shows that what could have been better as a movie. Would Eternals, would that have been more digestible as a TV show?
Yeah, that would have been more digestible, and they could have done so much more with it because, like, it's a love story. So they made like a 2.5 hour love story that none of us cared to see.
It wasn't a lot of action. Really, you needed a breather from.
None of us really wanted to see a 2.5 hour love story that characters that we really know nothing about.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I mean, I get it, but at the grand scheme of things, I mean, are you really going to be excited 3 years from now when you see Angelina Jolie fight Dr. Doom on the screen? Like, you're not going to be like excited to see that.
No,
you're not going to be excited to see Brian Tyree Henry like go against Scarlet Witch. Like, it's just not something that you really want to see. So I mean, Eternals is, they could have left that. They really could have left that. Like Miss Marvel,
I think Marvel's feeling themselves a little too hard right now.
Okay, go ahead.
That's what I think their problem is.
Give us some more explain. I know you said it before, but let's say it so Andre can retort.
Yeah, I think they're not respecting the source material anymore. I think they're at a point where they think their showrunners are better than the writers who wrote the original stories, and they're clearly not, because the stories, they're not as good.
Yo,
like
listen,
trying.
Yeah, no, and I can agree with you. With the add insult to injury, the thing about all those writers that wrote the stories that they taken from the movies and the shows and everything, these writers they didn't even pay these writers for these comics and everything that they took from.
Yeah,
like literally, like, you mean to tell me the whole Infinity Gauntlet storyline and Infinity War. Like, you mean to tell me the original creators of this thing, like, y'all couldn't even break them off $100,000 after all that money y'all made?
A little cake.
You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all can't even go here, pay off your house now. You deserve it. Like, they couldn't even do that for them. Like,
I never thought about that. That's messed up.
It's a cold world. It's a cold world.
They got
I agree with you.
billion-dollar movies.
I never thought about that at all.
Because even if you look at like the Infinity War, like that whole series was so riddled with plot holes that didn't need to be there. Like Thanos, his whole motivation was terrible. Like, even though we all loved the movie, but I want to kill half the universe to free up the resources. That was dumb.
Yeah,
I mean,
them on like multiple levels. There was like way other ways to relieve that stress that didn't need to be like, let's kill half the universe.
Listen,
you could just make infinite resources.
They were like, you were willing to overlook them in Infinity War, but Endgame was the one where I listen. I like the movie, but the more you watch it, like, we just talked about it. I hate their time travel theory. It's the worst.
Time travel is terrible.
It's the worst theory like ever. I don't know why they would even do that. You robbed yourself of opportunities, doing it the way that they were talking about doing, and
go cuss out the Russo brothers again.
Man, to keep them away from any, like, they handicapped the Hulk. They were perfectly fine crippling. Like, they were about to cripple the Hulk. Like, they were like, oh, he's
permanent.
Yeah, and they were like, no, we need him for She-Hulk. So, like, girls on our back. But they did a whole lot of stuff, the Russos, and I really didn't like. I didn't see how, the Infinity Gauntlet, granted, I know it's comic book and this TV show, but their solution to the gauntlet was time travel. Like that, like those two aren't even. That's a Kang the Conqueror solution. Yeah, and now they can't even do that, so they're gonna travel in time again. It is like they.
But you know, but the thing about that is what I appreciate about that is it's like it added a layer of, okay, so now you know if that's a Kang the Conqueror solution, then that really just makes you think like, okay, let's look to the point and say, let's see where Kang actually influenced the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. Like as you can see that, like because you put out with Loki, like with the changes in Loki, you can see them like directly hitting Black Widow. Like for prime example, like in Black Widow, you know, I mean, you know, in Loki, how everything changed with the timeline, and you know these things change right here. But you see it in Black Widow because you know Red Guardian talks. She's like, yeah, all the times that I fought Captain America, you're like, wait, when the hell did you fight Captain America? You know what I mean? Like according to the timeline that we know, Steve Rogers, you know, he fought in the war, then he went to ice, and he came out of ice, and at no time did we ever see you fight Steve Rogers. There's no reason for you to fight Steve Rogers, but now you're telling us a storyline, a timeline that you fought Steve Rogers.
So you're thinking they put a thread out there for the future.
Yeah. So I mean, so it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's, you know, the plot holes are there, but you know,
I think you're giving them too much credit.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like to me, some of them seem logical, and other ones, you know, they explain away by comic book logic or whatever, what have you.
Here's the other thing. So the TVA, that's what they were called, right? TVA. Okay. So like they're all with the you know timelines and all this and all. Like the Avengers raped the timeline in Endgame. They did. So like they did what they did what they had to do. But Thanos came from the past, died in the future, so like everything he was supposed to have done up to a certain point in the timeline, he's not there. That should have created maybe another timeline where he doesn't go for the gauntlet, and maybe some people don't die because he's already dead. He died in the future in the ultimate timeline. TVA sleeps, but you know they're on Loki's ass for whatever reason, and I don't know, man. Like it's this isn't things that they used to do. They used to like think ahead, where like we can't do this because this will affect this and this and this and that. Like to me, the TVA has to pop back up, and they will on Loki, but they gotta explain some more stuff. Like why was it okay for them to do all of that? Because the ancient one, she's like, y'all can't just take this, and she was more concerned. She showed more concern about what they were doing than the TVA did since that show dropped.
No, I get it. I get it. It's like, so I mean, like I said, they explain a lot of it by comic book explanations or anything like that. So it's just like, I'm there with you. You're going to see what happens in Loki season 2 because there really should be a separate timeline with Thanos now, and that needs to be cleaned up and pruned about what he was doing and everything else like that. So I mean, like we have to see.
There's a timeline where Thanos didn't kill everyone, and maybe the Avengers. Tony's not dead, and Natasha didn't have to sacrifice him because he was already dead. Like, there's no Gamora in that timeline. There's no Nebula in that timeline. There's no Thanos in that timeline. So and like his whole like armada was destroyed, and so like they were Thanos free this timeline.
Yeah, but so that means you get to be Tom Cruise as Iron Man.
But overall, you were happy. Give us a grade. We like to do grades on the show. Give us a grade for Phase 4.
Phase 4. I'm not gonna give it an A, B, C, or D like that. I'm gonna give it a points out of 100.
Oh no! We don't do numbers. We don't.
You're a teacher too.
No, we got report cards, man. We get a report card.
Like report card. I mean, it's gonna be like a C.
A, C.
It's gonna be like a C. I'll give it overall Phase 4. I give it a C plus. Like there's a lot of hit or misses.
Oh, I'm surprised.
Yeah, I'm surprised too.
There's a lot of hit or misses in that in Phase 4. I mean, there's things that shouldn't have been done, things that could have been done better, like Doctor Strange, and then things that were done great. But, you know, as a whole, I feel there's a lot of projects that didn't need to be done, or they could have been done a different way. And like I said, like Shang-Chi, Black Panther 2, and Spider-Man No Way From Home, those are the those are the crown jewels of the show. I mean, the movies, and then the shows, Loki and WandaVision and What If. To me, those were the best three of the shows. I mean, and Werewolf by Night and Guardians of the Galaxy specials. Those were great. Those were great. I have no complaints about either one of those. Those were pleasant surprises. I love them both. Yes.
I hated Vampire by Night. I really did. I thought it was boring, man.
Werewolf by Night?
And I hated it. I liked the Guardians. I thought that was cool, but I hated Vampire by Night. I thought it was boring.
But listen, Werewolf by Night, the reason why I loved it, though, because it reminded me of like the old Vincent Price movies, the horror movies like that, and the tone and everything. Mm. Plus they got a little gory with it, too. For
that right there, it was a lot more gory than you would expect for a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
That
alone. So to see all of that and get that feel for it and see like, okay, this is where Blade and all of them, when the monster side really starts showing up, this is where it's going to go. Like, okay, this might
hopefully
be nice.
They get Blade right.
Yeah, we have a theory that Blade won't kill any vampires. He'll tie them up and leave them for the police. Like,
oh God, that would be horrible.
Listen,
all
I want to see is
your friendly neighborhood Blade.
Yeah, put arrest me on them and leave the scene.
Listen, listen, I need to see Mahershala and I need to see Wesley Snipes, and I need to see both of them. I need to see both of them as Blade suited up before this whole Kang Wars or whatever like that is done. I need to see both of them as Blade.
I honestly just need to see Wesley in general.
Yeah,
just the fact that he ain't showed up in any Marvel franchise right now.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
That's kind of
it's disrespectful.
But the thing about it is because Hollywood kind of low key blackballed Wesley for a little bit. So
they did,
but Wesley pretty much saved comic book movies with Blade. Let's get him in. Yeah, not just Marvel. Comic book movies he saved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He deserves at least a walk in the background or something. Hey, Wesley, something. He deserves at least that.
No. I'm going back to what you said. He can't walk by, Mike. They got to put him in it because
I'll take that.
They brought Toby back. They brought Andrew back. Like, tell me what's the difference between them and Wesley.
Yeah,
I'm saying the thing about it, that right there, between bringing Andrew back and Toby back, that's like Sony is saying like, all right, we really want to do the Spider-Man universe, because Sony didn't do that, just didn't agree for that, just for that one movie. They agreed for that because they got much bigger plans going on. I can see there's going to be another Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie coming out.
See, I think they just need to forget about Peter Parker. I think they need to leave him in Marvel and just do a Miles Morales movie. Just do it. Like, make that y'all thing. Like, y'all getting paid off the Peter Parker Spider-Man. Why don't y'all make some money on the side with another character who needs this platform, deserves this platform?
Yeah.
Like, just do that. And y'all can do the crossover. Like Marvel's not going to tell you no. Oh, no, you can't bring Miles Morales. Like, just do that.
Listen, as long as you plan it out, plan it out and make it coherent to the MCU, I'm for all Spider-Man movies that they're going to do. That's all I'm going to say. Make it. I'm
gonna get on my on a slight Hotep rant.
Okay. Oh Lord.
Go ahead. Did anybody were like, not just I've known about it for a while, but when I heard about it, it made me like throw up a little bit in my mouth. Do you guys know why his last name is Morales?
No,
and not his father's last name. The worst shit I've ever heard.
I heard that his father was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and that was the explanation I was given, and they changed his name for his safety or whatever or something.
So his father was ashamed of his father. His Miles Morales' dad was ashamed of his
Jefferson
Miles
Davis.
Morales'
Jefferson is ashamed of
Okay. His father.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
So when he got married to his mom, he
Rio.
said he's going to take her name instead of having her take his name.
Oh, wow.
So that's why his last name is Morales.
That's emasculating.
Yeah, I was like, what kind of...
Listen, I'm going to say it like this. Listen, I get the, the emasculating part. But it's progressive.
It's the reason why. It's like, he's a black man with a bad black man as a father. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
y'all ain't have to write it like that.
I get it.
Like, let's have a positive black character without having like my dad was a criminal, and
that's hard.
No criminals and no racism as villains. Can we have that?
That's hard because as much as we talked about us feeling good about Black Panther. It was people looking at us like, why they so happy about?
Oh,
this
that's why they
right
hating now. Every post they hate. You see the smiley
Listen.
face in the bottoms.
Listen, that little kid though from Moonlight, you couldn't tell me he wasn't gonna grow up to be Miles Morales though.
Moon Knight?
It was like
What kid?
the little kid from Moonlight that was like Moonlight, and they put him in Black Panther, like he was playing ball at the end, basketball. He's looking like that. Like in my mind, he's like Miles Morales.
What kid you talking about?
In Black Panther, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first one.
At the end of the movie,
In the parking lot.
When you see the Wakanda,
Right.
Wakanda ship, and it come and they unclose, and the one kid like, what's that?
Oh, you
like,
talking about my man from the Shy, the little kid that's on the Shy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like in my mind, he's always been Miles Morales. Always been, and especially since they mentioned Miles in the MCU. Like Miles, he's there, but like in my mind, I always thought that he was like that was Miles Morales. Especially because you know how Black parents act too. Like stuff was going down in New York. They're like, all right, we're gonna send him with family out to Los Angeles. That's just the way I took it. I'm not even gonna lie. That's just the way I took it.
You're going Will Smith.
I put that story together.
My Miles has always been my man Miles from Blackish. I think he still would be.
Yeah, that's mine too.
Yeah, he'll be a good
My
Miles.
man
Yeah,
Miles.
I like the kid.
I like him.
Yeah.
Hey, look, all I know is he's always been Miles in my mind ever since watching Black Panther. So, hey, until they show me something different, that's Miles Morales to me.
Do you guys think that Miles Morales should continue to be Spider-Man, or should he have his own identity outside of Spider-Man?
Leave him as Spider-Man.
Leave him as Spider-Man because, DC does it. Like they have a bunch of it's 3 Flashes and
he can be a legacy character. Leave him alone. He's selling books. He's good. Leave him alone.
Yeah, it's 2 Batwomen right now, Batgirls right now. They a team. Like it's cool.
How many?
But you know what though? No, I look, J-Pat, like I get what you're saying because the thing about it is like DC is about the suit, Marvel's about the character. So it's like Marvel, are you really want to be DC right here and keep having all these different Spider-Man, or do you want to make it about the character? So I mean, I'm there with you on that. I mean, like it wouldn't be bad if you just name him Miles Morales instead of being Spider-Man.
I think DC is about the legacy.
That's what I mean. The legacy, the legacy.
Yeah, because because all the Flashes, like Barry was Wally's mentor. Then they got I can't think of this kid's name right now. The Impulse. I can't think of his name right
Bart
now.
Allen.
Bart, Bart, and the Wonder Woman, Superman, like
it's a legacy.
Batman has right. It's like a tradition. Like that's why they can actually kill some of these characters sometimes, and somebody's there to pick it up. Wally was like to some people. Some people grew up with Wally. They didn't even have Barry.
They know Barry.
Wally
for
was
years.
the Flash, right? Like Wally was their Flash for like a long.
That's
what happened with John Stewart.
Let's not forget.
John Stewart. Mm-hmm.
Wally was the first the first sidekick to take over for the hero. I can't think of any other sidekick that besides Wally that actually became the hero as long as he did. And that Robin did it later on. Dick Grayson did it later on in Batman and Robin, but Wally had already did it. Wally was the first one to take over. That legacy is there. You can't, Miles. You got to keep that same legacy. You can't.
I think
I get what you're saying, but that legacy got to build.
That's one of their strengths to me. Like in DC, like because like everybody's in the Justice League in DC. Like let's just put that out. Everybody's in the Justice League. Like and it's like a family atmosphere even more than the Avengers. And I love the Avengers, but Justice League they talk to each other by their first name. You know what I mean? And it's like they know each other's kids, who staying with them, brothers. Like they all look out for each other like a big family and they fight each other like family. But I think that's a strength. And that's going all the way back to Justice Society and those Golden Era heroes from then. But that's, we all have our opinions on that thing. But I hear you. We are at... Lou, we at
almost 12 o'clock.
Yeah, we at 150. We didn't get to the games or the Eddie Murphy or favorite characters. Like, you think we can push that out to another day?
That'd be fine.
Yeah, okay. You were waving like you were about to leave. Like, no, don't leave. Don't leave.
I went to the bathroom.
All right. I'll close this out here. Like Andre, we love you here. Like we all go back. It's pushing 10 years. We are glad to have you here. Like you were one of the people who were targeted early. We had a couple people that stood us up. I ain't saying no names. We love you too.
Say their name. Call their asses out. Shit.
Nah.
Thank you.
City to me, I call them out.
Nah, we'll get them on here. But like you're like
Mr. Green.
Everybody that's been on here, we wanted to have them back. We just trying to knock out some people, but like maybe we'll have you on here with someone else, maybe 2 guests at a time. I don't know if the platform.
Oh, no, I'm there.
I was thinking about a whole B team.
I'm going to the bathroom though.
I was thinking about a whole B team roster, episode of B team roster. Like
I went to the bathroom though. I'm older.
Just a whole B team roster. We like tying Andre, Dennis, Tim, and get like one more and a host. They're
gonna be our team.
That'd be the B team. It's a B team week.
Oh man. Yeah. And we still gotta get Sean on here. Sean, if you're listening, like we gotta get you back on here, buddy.
Right.
Like,
get Sean in one time. And that could be the B squad. They could be on for a couple episodes, give us a day off. On the weekends that we take off with the B team role. And that's on the air.
Right.
They can go on patrol.
All right. So we're gonna wrap it up. Andre, once again, thank you. Guys, Jay, Mike, Lou, we always enjoy getting together with you guys at the end of the week. We miss Rob.
Definitely.
Terrence, the ladies, like enjoy your time off. And we're going to send it out. Everybody be good. We'll see you next week.
We're out.
Peace.
Laters.
Peace.
Later.